I've been waiting for you now.
Hello listeners and welcome to Chasm Converses. After a week off, I am back with a brand new guest, and that guest is singer-songwriter MOZÖ from Wangaratta in Victoria, Australia. We talk about her living her dreams as a pop singer, studying at VCA and perfecting her voice, and we also talk about and mention various artists like Lewis Capaldi, Missy Higgins and Lianne Havvis, and have a chat about cappuccinos as well. So join us and let's get conversing. Chasm Converses. MOZÖ, welcome to Chasm Converses.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's so cool to have you here. You're joining me from Melbourne, yeah, in Victoria?
I'm actually in Wangaratta, which is 3 hours from Melbourne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I'm a rural girl.
That's so cool. Wow. I've personally never actually been there, but even so, that sounds so sweet. It's really great to have you today. I'm really keen to have a chat with you about a bunch of different things. You know, you're a singer, songwriter, all that sort of stuff. You've got some awesome tracks and, you know, we know each other from past gigs and that sort of thing from back in the day, which is going to be cool. I think we'll delve into that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd love to ask you, especially when it comes to like singer-songwriting and being a musician in general, like what was your kind of light bulb moment that made you want to kind of be a musician, be a singer-songwriter?
Honestly, I don't think it was a light bulb moment. I just think it just was always the thing that I was going to do from a young kid. It was just the thing that I was good at and almost the thing that I was meant to be here for.
Wow. That sounds wonderful.
I felt, yeah. And it was just like, I just like always sang and like I wasn't like super academic, so music made sense to me. And I really liked, I think I've thought about this a lot, but I think I really liked how there's no really right or wrong answer with creativity. Like you can make something and yeah. Like it's your.
No, that's very true.
You can control the narrative, and you don't have to
100%.
get like a D- on it. It's like
yeah, no, that's really like critique you on it. It's sort of your own kind of experiment. You're sort of exploring the means the way that you want to explore them. And so yeah, no, that's really great. I love that sort of saying. I think people should have that on their wall at home. Like, you know,
like
that's
live,
awesome.
laugh, believe.
Yeah,
Control
that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
that sounds wonderful. So, like, when you sort of started to, I guess, sing and stuff, did you have like a teacher who taught you sort of things, or did you kind of just start a lot of it yourself, or like, how did that all kind of come about?
for sure. Well, my dad's an opera singer. What was an opera chorister?
Wow, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I say opera singer. He was more of like a chorister boy,
Right.
but. So I guess naturally I have like an ear for singing. And then I just always did it. Like I just kept singing. People would tell me to shut up and I just keep singing. And then got singing lessons when I was growing up in Wangaratta, and then moved school, was in choirs, and then started performing, and then just became addicted to performing. Like I would perform. We would do these Monday night performances at school because I went to boarding school.
Right, okay.
And yeah, every Monday I perform and the whole school would be like, oh my fucking God, Zoe, just like give someone else a go sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved it.
That's brilliant. Whereabouts did you go to boarding school, like in Victoria, in Australia?
So I went to a school in Geelong, but the Year 9 campus was in regional Victoria.
Right, okay, yeah. Wow.
We just lived in the bush.
Yeah, literally. In the rural bush, performing and like getting the singing across. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Damn,
exactly.
That's so sick. And so I guess like when you were sort of doing that sort of thing, who kind of influenced you in your want to kind of sing and like your voice? Because I mean, I have witnessed your voice firsthand, and it's especially in a live sense, and it really is something to behold. Like, it's like, wow, this is really great. Something you've really worked out a lot. I mean, I'm sure like you might have the pipes in you from dad and that sort of thing, but I think it's like sort of you've molded it into your own sort of thing. Yeah. So like, did you sort of use any influences from other people that you heard singing to try and like bring it into your own kind of voice?
For sure. That's a great question. I think that I listened to a lot of Billie Holiday in high school and maybe even before then. Like a lot of, I used to sing Christina Aguilera all the time. Like if you deep dive into YouTube, you'll find mini me, like just trying so hard to, No.
Damn, I didn't do that in my research, but I might have to try that afterwards.
No. You won't find it. It's under a different alias that no one knows.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, no. It's so weird. Even through like talking to a few podcast guests, when I do my little like searches and stuff, I do uncover little things in that. But that's one that I didn't see that alias. So yeah. That's okay.
No one will find it.
That's secretly hidden in the YouTube archives.
What else did I sing? Like I used to like listen to Coldplay nonstop, but I don't think that they influenced my singing. Carole King. Oh my God, obsessed with Carole King. Missy Higgins.
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Lots of Missy Higgins.
She was absolutely massive in the 2006 era. I remember that much. Yeah, everyone was into her.
My singing teacher in from like year 10 to 12, amazing. Like the best person I ever met. Like I attribute her to like how strong my voice is now. She was just such a great teacher, and she taught me a lot of like operatic techniques, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Because apparently I have quite an operatic voice, but I sing in a very pop style because I prefer to sing that. But so she just taught me how to use my operatic voice in a pop way, I guess.
That's wonderful. That's really cool, especially because, like, I mean, obviously in opera singing, you've got to sustain notes for so long, and there's also a lot of deep sort of singing that comes into it as well. So, like, I guess that would have helped out so much, just building your bass to help you get those notes out, and that makes so much sense now from obviously me seeing you before.
Thank you. A lot of, like, I think great singers will agree that breath work and balancing your voice with breath is the key, and I think that's what opera singers do so well because they're singing such big notes for so long. Their breath work has to be like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
really
elite
just like
athletes.
hold those notes.
Yeah.
I remember there was a friend of mine who taught me some singing back in the day, and he went and saw a German teacher in Berlin. And she was, I think, also teaching some operatic techniques, and she had a bowling ball, and she'd put a bowling ball on his stomach and he had to like raise it and make it fall and lift it. And that's sort of like how he would expand his diaphragm into sort of helping him sort of lift something heavy off his chest, so that when he did it with no like ball on his chest, it was just like a constant thing.
Yeah. And I was like, so cool.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's next level. That's really cool. And so I haven't gone into purchasing a bowling ball yet, but there's a part of me that kind of wants to do that just to see how it'll kind of, goes around.
But you should try
even so. Yeah, no, I'd love to. That'd be great. But no, that's so cool that, you've got all these people coming in and like, sort of helping you build the voice that you kind of want to build and all that sort of stuff. So I guess like you loved performing and all that kind of thing. When did you start to sort of filter into wanting to be in like getting in like bands and stuff, like having other people sort of join you into performing with like an ensemble or with bands and that sort of thing?
I guess that was just the next step. I don't know, like, because I just knew from a young age that I wanted to be a pop star. So I guess I was sort of, because it's not like having a career in music isn't like any other career path where there's very structured sort of ways to get a job in terms of you write a resume and then you get an internship and like all of these things. It's not really
much step process.
Yeah. So the step process, I guess, that does exist is learn your craft, get really good at it, meet a bunch of people, and then make music. So that's kind of, I guess... Yeah, I think that, I always wanted to do that. And then I finished school and went to college and like met all these other amazing musicians. And we just became really close, and then we just all started writing music. Or I had all these songs that I had written from high school, and I was like, why don't we perform them together?
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. Whereabouts did you? Because you did a music degree in college, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to VCA, so Victoria College of the Arts. Yeah,
wonderful. There's a few people I know who went to that school.
Oh yeah, who do you know?
A few comedians in Melbourne.
No.
Michelle Brazier is one, who's currently over here doing Edinburgh Fringe. She went to VCA.
Ooh.
That's the first one that sort of springs to mind. But even so, that's like, yeah, that'd been amazing to sort of go to that college and learn music, and you would have met so many different people and awesome people all sort of together.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. It was like classically, as in it was classic in that it was so disorganized. It being like a creative degree, I feel like it was all over the shop.
Yeah, right.
Really quirky teachers, but like that works so well for me in my brain. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's hard to have like a teacher who's kind of, well, I mean, like it's good to have a teacher who can sort of be straightforward and stuff, but you sort of want a bit of entertainment when you are learning something creative.
Yeah.
Because then they can sort of give you that sort of, I guess as you say, that quirkiness and that sort of like, creativeness to sort of make it
creative
like what
freedom.
You want to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that sounds like it'd be an amazing way to learn. And like, obviously joining and making friends from that sort of experience, and then just like jumping out into the world of music would have been just so good to like, especially leaving college and being like, cool, now we're out in the real world, like in a band playing gigs and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So the first band was Zoe and the Milkmen, and I remember the first night that it formed, and it was just for like a small little silly competition. And we were like, okay, let's be a cover band, or like let's just get something together to perform at this show. And then literally 5 minutes before we went on, we're like, oh my God, we don't have a name. What should we be called? And then someone was like, something like Catfish and the Bottlemen, but it has to be Zoe and the. And then I was like, Milkman. Because I was just the first thing came. We're like, yeah, okay, Zoe and the Milkman.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, we're no longer anymore. I think we all finished uni, and then Gug moved to Sydney, and he studied at Afters, is it called? It's like
a
composition.
Okay.
And then Noah is still in Melbourne. He plays in my band, like plays with MOZØ, which is awesome.
Sweet. That's awesome. It's good that you guys sort of stuck together through that. But no, I mean, I obviously heard you guys and played shows with you guys as well, which is awesome. I think this is
so long ago. Hey,
this is like 2018, 2019, I think it was around that time, like before like the COVID days and all that sort of shit.
Do you remember where?
Grace Darling Hotel, I think it was both times.
Yeah, like the downstairs in the little dark room. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was so much fun. Yeah, I think it was like, it was in the same year, because that's when we actually went on tour, and we were just like, that's when like my band, like the Sunsets, was just like going ham. We were like, yeah, we're just going to do a whole year of just like releasing songs, and we're going to try and tour every single single. And then, we had you guys on the Wild at Heart show, and then we had you on the Your Eyes show as well in like September. And it was so cool because like, I think you had different releases at different times around those periods as well, because I just found literally last night, very, very late to the show, obviously, but your last EP that you guys did, with Zoe, which was like the Goosebumps, I think it was. And I was like listening to it, and I was like, I probably won't know any of these songs, because obviously it's a new thing and I think it was like 2021 or something that you released it. And literally the first two songs, I'm like, I know these songs. Oh my God, no way. I can remember these songs from you performing them.
So late. We were so hopeless. And then we just sort of broke up. I don't know.
Yeah. It was so crazy. I mean, it's one of those things that I love about seeing live bands and like local bands and stuff, is that you just, if you're really paying attention, you can hear those songs and they come into your mind and they sort of just buzz around in there for a while. And then, if you hear it recorded, or if you go back to it at some point, your brain just, it remembers it. It's like, oh, I know this from way back over here. And it just like sort of pulls it forward. And you're like, shit, yeah, I do remember that. That's really great. But even so, like, the EP you guys did before that was great. Like, obviously, I mean, I think I listened to, Pain is a Losing Game, and that's literally where I found you guys on Triple J, I think it was, which is what got me wanting to put you guys onto the show. Yeah.
I feel like I listened to that song and I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is terrible.
I feel that way about my music.
Hilarious.
But no, it was such a cool little sort of part of, I guess, each other's lives that we sort of were able to experience and stuff, which is so much fun. And then obviously, I guess you like sort of when you guys sort of broke up, did you kind of branch straight into MOZE, or was that sort of just like a side project where you were kind of like, I guess, experimenting, writing songs and kind of just wanted to bring it out into the world?
I definitely always knew I wanted to do something solo and more in the pop world as well. But at the beginning, when we first started Zoe and the Milkmen, I was writing more like bandsy, rocky stuff. And then I got into interactive composition at VCA, which is like production composition. So I learned how to produce, and then I was producing my own stuff. So I was like, great. And then I finished uni and then COVID happened. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, it was 2021. I had the year off and I was just doing hospo and just saving.
It's so weird because you obviously you're like in Melbourne, and that was, you guys got it bad. Like you guys had
it was so bad.
You guys I don't think you guys even left your house that year. You were just in there the whole time.
You know, it was so awful. So then I guess I was just like, I have all this time to hone in on my practice and write music and start like making a website and start doing an Instagram, which is so intimidating when you're first starting, because it's like you're literally starting from rock bottom. You have nothing.
No, definitely. I mean, this is literally an easy example of that as well. Like, you know, this was just literally from a song that I wrote with my friend Sam. Well, you know Sam, obviously the keyboardist of Paper Sunsets. And then, that sort of just was like, oh, cool. I have a song under a name now that I just decided to throw in there. What do I do with it now? So like, I got to build something around it and expand it in some way. And it's intimidating because you're like, okay, shit, I guess I'm branching out on this venture. But it seems like, you've sort of like wrote a lot of stuff and just really had from what it looks like you had a really good idea of what you wanted to do and what you wanted to sort of put into your world and able to expand it and to sort of bring people into it. That's
so nice that you say that, because I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. I do maybe more now. When it's constantly changing. Like when, like 1 minute I'll write an awesome electronic piece that I love, and then the next minute I'm writing a fucking romantic ballad. Like you just have no idea what's going to come out. And I think that my goal is not to limit myself. Like I think a lot of artists these days, especially recording artists that are really great at recording music and releasing it on Spotify. Because there's so much competition, listeners want to know what they're looking for when they're searching for an artist. So I think that because of that, people are like really honing in on a specific genre, but then it's sort of limiting them. So I feel like maybe Lewis Capaldi might be a good example. Like someone who is incredible, amazing, but all he's doing is like piano ballads, maybe, and a bit, it is poppy. I just feel like it's, you know, that when you're searching in Spotify and you search his name, you know exactly what you're going to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like someone like a band back in the day like Radiohead they were so creative. They were creating like such different albums and such different things, and they definitely still had their own sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a really good sort of idea that you bring up, because especially with a lot of bands, like they can start off in one kind of genre, but then as they keep going, you see that they want to change and bring new elements into it and sort of shape it around a bit. And that's where you sort of get some differences. I mean, Paramore is a great example of that, especially in the present day with their most recent albums. Just, you know, they've changed a whole lot of different things. Even a lot of metal bands that I listen to have changed a lot and have gone more into sort of hard rock rather than metal, or like changed their vocal stylings up a little bit. And so I think, I guess like from that, a solo artist doing that, it makes a lot of sense because they can sort of experiment with all sorts of different kind of genres and that sort of thing. And so it gives them a bit more of a variety of things to show people and for people to listen to rather than just sticking to a single genre.
Yeah, exactly. And I think then maybe my listeners will know what to expect when I release something. They're like, okay, it's not going to be just like this pop disco track. It might be.
Yeah. It's not always going to be like pop disco tracks. It might, as you say, be like a romantic track, or it might be like a downbeat track or something similar to that. Or it might even be like a full band track or something like that.
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
in that sort of matter.
Who knows?
Coolest thing about the mention of Lewis Capaldi, very short story, but I got the opportunity to go and see the Vamps recently at Kew Gardens, not too far from here. And I don't even know who the Vamps are. But my friend got me a ticket, which was very, very nice of her. And we went, and it was like one of those sit down festival gigs, which is not really something that I go to a lot of. You know, I'm usually in like a mosh pit and there's no pit there. So I'm like, okay. I was like outdoor, but we're sitting there and, Lewis Capaldi actually made an appearance. He came on stage.
Oh, wow. He is amazing. His voice is amazing. It's crazy.
It's so insane to see just how beloved he really is, especially along like the UK fans, because he didn't even sing or even say any words. I think he literally just showed up at the gig just backstage to see the band, and then he literally came on stage for like a second just to say hello, and just as soon as his face was on screen for a second, every single person around me just erupted like, oh my god. And I was like, oh, so cool. Look, it's that guy. It's that guy.
He's
and
hilarious.
And then he just left, and it was just like, wow, that's how awesome is that?
I wonder how much he got paid to do that.
Oh, I don't even know. I want to know if he even if he even did, or if he literally just decided just to rock up and be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" and then just leave. And then everyone was like, "Yeah, shit." But even so, I mean, yeah, he's got. I mean, with the piano ballads and that sort of stuff. I mean, my first track is basically a piano ballad as well, and a lot of his songs are sort of.
I love it. I love piano.
Oh, thank
ballads.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's got a lot of that stuff as well. But he's just wow, like he does them really, really well, and his voice is obviously just absolutely incredible. So, but even so, like it's so cool, to sort of dive in as a solo artist and experiment different genres and different varieties of things to do. And even a lot of your songs are quite different when it comes to it. I mean, like I've listened to quite a few of your songs that you have released and the rest of it. And then I gave a refresh listen yesterday before obviously the podcast, but obviously like, you know, I think Ruse is my favorite song personally. That's more of a like downbeat song, which I really, really enjoy. The one thing I love about your music is they've all got music videos pretty much attached to them, which is awesome because I do think that music videos are still very, very important these days to really show fans the artist who's trying to, you know, like put their music out to them. And as well as that, it paints a picture of that song for them to kind of watch. Do you like have a really cool creative process when it comes to sort of writing your music and matching your music video content to them?
I feel like I'm a very visual person. So when I like create something, it's not just, I don't know, the creativity isn't just like this, the sound of the song. I feel like when, like you probably find this as well, like when you're creating something, you're creating this world that you can sort of see and experience and sit in and be in. And that's why I like music videos so much. And it's also a really nice way to collaborate with another artist and, you know, see their perspective on the song. So they've all been different. Like the first two music videos for Afraid and Ruse, I worked with a film company and they kind of took the reins of what it was going to be. So that was a really fun, cool experience. And it was both really beautiful music videos. And then for Savings, I didn't really have one, but for Ruse, that was kind of like, oh no, not Ruse, Albert Street. That one was just like a super fun day. And
so bright.
That's
very
all
vibrant.
I was like, I just want everyone to be wearing tights and heels and suits. And that's all I knew. And then we had a spot and it was all it was pretty much free, the whole thing.
Right.
And then my sister did my makeup and then just on the day, I got my friend to film it, and on the day I was like, okay, let's just try this. Okay, let's just try this. Let's just try this. And then I had like a week to edit it. So he put all the sim with all the footage in his mailbox. I went over to his house, picked it up, put it into my laptop, and I was going to America that week as well. So I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
So I was literally editing the video like on the airplane.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I had to learn how to color grade, and it was crazy. And then it just like, I don't know, that one was just like chaos, and it just happened to come together.
Yeah. That's so cool. I didn't even know that you even edited the videos yourself. That's such a cool. I love that I know that now.
Just
really
that
sweet.
Just that one.
So just Albert Street. Okay.
Yeah. And then, would you be mine? Some friends were just like, I made this really awesome video. Can we use your song in it? And I was like, yes. So I didn't have to do anything for it. I didn't absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's
it was
so
just
sick.
like the end of their uni degree. And I'm working the next release. I'm working with some really amazing people who have a film company, and it's also free. And so like,
that's the best.
People just love creating and want to make their own folio, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to go about it, especially for like students and stuff that are trying to like build a portfolio on their videos or their creators and stuff like that. The fact they can use your music, or even they approach you to use them, use the music for the video that's so cool. And for you, it's so great because then you get like, you get visual music videos out of that experience as well that you can share with everybody else. So
I've spent money on really music videos in the past, and it's been a massive regret because it's like I spend a lot of money on it, and there's not really any return apart from you having like a nice video to go with your song. It's just,
absolutely.
Yeah, and like good content, but like, yeah, it's definitely when you're an emerging artist, not something to spend a lot of money on because your money. Yeah. So you need to really choose where you're putting your funds.
100%. And especially it depends on like obviously how the band is funded, how much you're all willing to sort of put in for that sort of stuff as well. Like, I mean, a lot of my stuff is kind of, well, when it comes to art stuff and the press stuff and whatever, a lot of my bands are self-funded from me. When it comes to music, we all chip in, which is good. But then when it comes to that stuff, it's kind of like, all right, this is literally pretty much all my sort of deal. So I got to sort of prioritize what's more important than the other one. And if I do want this, like, it's a good idea, but let's not get something that's too over the top because I'm just going to run out of money because it's all very, very expensive. Being a creative and being a musician is an expensive process.
It's so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Sadly, but it's still so good that you were able to grab some, like, just get so much good content out of all those songs that you did and all the rest of it. It's such a cool thing to see. I'm obviously seeing that you're drinking beer right there. What beer are you drinking?
Oh no, it's not a beer. I'm gluten intolerant, but it's a seltzer.
Oh, it's a seltzer, right? That's awesome. Oh, Smirnoff. Sweet, awesome. Yes, it's obviously morning time over here, and I've already downed my coffee, so I don't have anything of my own. But no, even so.
What's your coffee order?
Well, I mean, I love my oat lattes. I don't mind those. I still work at a pub currently, so I sort of try and switch it up every day. Just add a bit more of a caramel syrup or a hazelnut syrup or something to mash it around. It's so weird over here. Like,
yeah. So why are you in the UK? What's that about?
Oh, just a bit of a life change. I've lived in Australia my entire life. And I'm very fortunate to have my mum be from over here. So I was able to get a British passport. I was also very lucky to be in the house that I'm actually currently in. It's my great aunt's house. So that's awesome. Like, a very long distance relative, but it's worked out really, really well. So I am forever grateful for them for having me here. But yeah, just like a bit of a life change. I mean, for me, I found my creative life was really cool, and I was really enjoying it and all the rest of it. But my personal life and myself was just not happy with, like, living still at home. The jobs that I was going to were just like, you know, just a job to a job to a job, and it just wasn't really satisfying me. And also just the fact of, you know, it's if you have the opportunity to go live in a bigger country, in a bigger city with more people, it's like, well, like, take it. Let's just, if the possibility is there, like, let's leave the small place and see what's in the big place. And it's there's a lot. There's a lot.
So much.
There's a lot, and it's like, yeah, this has been the most insane experience of my life. Like, I've just learned stuff about me that I just didn't know before, things that I need to change, things that I'm good at, things that I thought I was good at that I'm actually really bad at as well. And that's one thing I also realized it's just been it was definitely needed for absolute certain. But yeah, I'm sort of getting my head around everything at the moment. But what I was going to say, like, coffee wise, it's so weird over here because if you get a cappuccino, they don't give you chocolate. You can put it on if you want it. And I'm kind of like, I thought the whole possibility of cappuccino was the fact that you had chocolate on it. That's what made it a cappuccino. But apparently it's like, it's something to do with the milk or something. And I'm kind of like, no, it's the chocolate. It's just the chocolate.
I agree.
Man. Like,
it's also the chocolate, but it's the amount of foam, I think.
Yeah,
but I agree.
So
it's
weird.
Chocolate for sure.
First time I rocked up, I got a cappuccino and they didn't give me any chocolate. I'm like, what's this?
Why are you getting a cappuccino?
I know. I was like, I literally only ever got cappuccinos for the chocolate, and now it's like, oh no, it's like more than that. And I'm like, it's never been that way where I've been from. But even so, it's so crazy. I'd love to finish off talking to you about, obviously, you know, we've talked so much about your music and your arts and your creativeness and all that sort of stuff. And obviously your tracks are so good. Like, I mean, they're doing wonders on Spotify. People are listening to them. Even like there's some cool Triple J stuff are getting around them as well, which is just like, it's so cool to see that as well, which is really cool. When it comes to like, you know, bands that you've seen or even like, you know, artists that you've seen, that sort of thing, have you had a really great sort of experience in seeing one of your favorite bands or one of your favorite artists on stage that you just sort of like that you kind of hold very close to heart?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like almost every time I see someone live, I get inspired in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, God, so many people, like especially Lianne Havvis. I saw her live and it was the craziest thing ever.
Wow, I haven't even heard of her, so that's awesome.
Go listen to her. You will be obsessed with her. She's amazing. Lianne Havvis. But like even like my friends, I'm recently friends with a girl called Maddie who's in a band called Velvet Bloom, and I've seen her live and she's just like so incredible. So her voice is something else, and her spirit also is really, really beautiful to watch.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I'm going to see Elliot next week, Close Counters. They actually Alan actually mixed Albert Street for me, and I saw
oh wow,
they sold out the corner, and they were just amazing. And it's really cool to see how much amazing music is in Australia.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I even being over here, I still see things pop up from like Adelaide and Melbourne of bands that I know, and even just like my friends' bands and stuff. And like, it's so great to see them doing really well and like progressing to the next stage, or as you know, like, you know, just going on tour or playing shows in different states and stuff. Like, it's so fun to see. I'm still trying to kind of crack that over here. It's quite difficult at the current time, but I'm slowly starting to sort of get my head around everything, because I completely miss performing with my band and all that sort of stuff. It's been like 5 months since I've been on stage, which is insane. So for me, that's something I've got to sort of get back into, because I mean, and even you play like live shows and stuff as well, which is awesome. Like, it's so good that you've got your own little band around you as well that you can sort of take with you to play shows, like, I mean, in Melbourne, but obviously all around Australia if you choose. Yeah,
we've got a regional tour coming up because I'm based in Wang, so Wangaratta, Bright, Beechworth. But yeah, we played at the Grace Darling the other night and sold like 100 tickets, and that was amazing. Oh,
well, that would have been just packed under there. Were you downstairs or above?
No, upstairs.
Oh, shit, moving up in the world. That's the best.
I know.
That's brilliant.
I actually had no idea what to expect when I arrived. I was like, I have no idea if I'm going to go downstairs, but we had a fun show there that time, so I was ready.
Especially with 100 tickets, that's all the difference in the world.
Down there, yeah.
Yeah. 100%. This has been so bloody awesome. I really appreciate you joining me today, MOZØ, to chat about all this sort of stuff. I wish you all the best with all your future releases and all the touring, obviously the regional tour that you're doing. Thank you so much for joining me.
That's so good. Thanks, Kate, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with MOZØ and myself. Do get your ears around her music and tune into the Chasm review that she also joined me on as we went through her newest single, Would You Be Mine. You can watch the review via my YouTube channel @ThisIsChasm and give her song a listen. It's available on all streaming platforms now, and follow her on the socials. There are links in the description of this episode. Please leave a rating and or review for the show wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week for a new episode with a new guest here on Chasm Converses.